Welcome to Australia now. Ladies and gents, welcome to the stage. Your host, Mr. Tshaka.
How you guys doing tonight? Are you guys excited?
Yeah!
Wow, that's not excitement at all. Just sold off this show. Are you guys excited for tonight? That's a bit better. Put your hands together for the one and only Vincent Tshaka. How you guys doing? That's how I want to be famous. Just do my own intros. But we sold out the room. Fuck yeah. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, I know there are people out there who are going to say I didn't sell out the room. So I'm going to do a very quick, Instagram live thing. And you guys are going to shout and cheer and do whatever you want. We'll do two. We'll do one as you're seated down, and then at the end you stand up like I was that good. That's good, right? Alright, cool. I'm gonna put on the lights and then we're gonna do like a very, very quick shout, cheer, do, go! Alright, that's it. Thanks, motherfuckers. 1 second, I need to save that because it just doesn't save. Save. Processing and send. Alright, how you guys doing? Good. Welcome for coming out and thank you for making us sell this show. This book. Alright, cool. We'll sell the show. Thank you guys for coming out. My name is Vincent Tshaka. I hope you actually came to see Vincent Tshaka. I know some of you might have seen a black poster and thought it was Stephen K. Ames. It's not, it's me. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from a family of 8. I was born in Kenya and I've been living in Australia for the last 16 years. And I'll put this on here. And in Kenya, for example, we did not have KFC and Krispy Kreme or any type of fast food. I experienced all that here, so I've put on a lot of weight since coming to Australia. Lots of weight. This here is Australianized. This is what happened when I got here. But that's a little bit about myself. I've got 2 kids. I've got 2 kids. They're awesome. They live with their mom. I get to see them every now and then, which is great. For those of you who don't have kids, don't get them. They're shit. And for the ones who are unlucky like us, we have them in the country town. So that's about it. But I need to get to know some of you. Let's get how many Aussies in the house? Give us a cheer. All right, a few Aussies in the house. How many people were born overseas? Yes, many more people from overseas. Where were you born? Belarus. That's Eastern Europe? Yeah, Russia. Cool. USA. Alright, I loved geography when I was younger. That's cool. Welcome to the show. But you live in Australia now? Alright, cool. And that's your fella. I know this guy. Right? This is like the cutest couple. These are my friends. I'm like the cutest couple on Facebook. You should follow them. After you follow me on Instagram. And Amanda, I've worked with Amanda. She's an awesome aspiring young woman. What do you do now?
A lot of things.
Okay. That's very informative in a room like this.
I know, it's very informative.
Cool.
I work in healthcare.
You work in healthcare. Welcome to the show. And this is your partner?
Possibly.
Alright, cool. Pull up your socks, good. So I'm saying, she's putting on the spot. in a full room, sold out. It's being recorded as well. So there is evidence that you need to do something about it. That's welcome. And I've got a lot of friends in the house, which is thank you so much for coming out. Mario, you Greece?
Greek, yes.
Greek. Cool. And you live here now?
I was born here.
You were born here, so you're typically Australian?
Yes.
Okay, mannerisms, language, everything. Cool. It's a shame. All right. What other countries do we have in the house? Can we shout it out? I'm not picking on anyone, just trying to figure out where we're at.
India.
India,
Poland,
Poland. How long have you lived here?
33 years.
3 years?
No, 33 years.
33 years. But do you still feel like Australianisms are sneaking out of you that you don't know you had? Like you'd say something and be like, I don't know who that is.
No, it's not like that.
Not about that. All right, how long have you guys been here?
I've been here for 4 years.
4 years. Oh, you're going to relate to this show so much. What's your name?
Sonu.
Sonu.
S-O-N-U, Sonu.
Oh, Sonu. All right, good. Lovely meeting you. Welcome to the show, by the way. Thank you very much. We've got Germany. Patrick's from Germany. Patrick came here at 8 o'clock. That's how efficient German timing is. Like, I am going to be there before the show starts and give the comedian shit. But thank you for coming out, guys. I appreciate it. Any other countries in the house? Got a Kenyan on the back. You can't see him, he's there. Smile. It's good. Yeah, I'll tell you more about myself. So I've been here for the last 16 years. I love Australia. And one thing about Australia is once I got here, I discovered there's fundamental differences between where I grew up. I grew up in Kenya. I know some of you are looking at me and thinking, wow, our sponsorship money works. Others are looking at me as like, he cannot be that fat if his parents were not corrupt. You're both right. I love being here. I love being in Australia. I know, because a lot of people, when I tell them I'm from Kenya, you have the picture you have in your heads about Kenyan people are tall, skinny, they can run. I always get that question, can you run? I'm like, no, not anymore. And that's true. I can't run anymore. I'll tell you, when I first landed in Australia 16 years ago, a friend of mine came and picked me up from the airport. And I was hungry. I was really hungry. He picked me up. I was like, dude, I'm hungry. I need food. And he was like, all right, cool. What do you want to eat? I said, I'll eat anything. He was like, all right, cool. So we got in the car from the airport. We went back to his place, went to my room. And when I came out, hang on. First of all, let me clarify this. I was hungry not because there was no food in Kenya. I just didn't eat on the flight. All right, so I don't want you guys to go like, oh my God, let's sponsor some kids. No, it wasn't. That wasn't the case. Anyway, so I put my luggage and I came out and he said, how about we go get some fast food? I was like, great. And he said, how about some chicken? And I said, great. So I went into my room and I got into my running gear. And then we got into his car and I freaked out. I was like, how fast are the chicken in this country? Now we have to chase them by car. I was at that point that I started realizing that we have fundamental differences between what I say and what people understand, because fast food in Kenya is chasing your own chicken. And over here was just going through a drive-through. Welcome. Late black people. Okay, good. Always, welcome. Thank you for coming out, guys. All right, so you missed the best story before you walked in. Anyway, so that was my experience of Australia. And so he picked me up, went through a drive-through, and I was like, which craft is this? And I was like, no, this is how we get fast food in Australia. I was like, all right. And so I started hanging out with Australians. I wanted to figure out, because if you're in a place, you want to know the culture. You want to figure out how you fit in and what does are the similarities or what are the differences. And there was such a lot of differences more than similarities. For starters, when I was growing up in Kenya, I used to live on the coast of Kenya, so I used to go to the beach. And by the way, I've been told my pronunciation actually sometimes sounds like I'm saying something else. So if I say beach, just think, and it sounds like that, just think the other one, just the good one. I just try and follow the story. I was like, why are you living on a beach? No. So on the beach, I used to live on the beach. And is that the correct way of saying it? All right, cool. So every time I'd go out with my friends and we'd go swimming, I'd see white people, sunbaking on the beach, and kids would come up to them and try and sell them stuff, and they'd buy stuff from the locals, and then the locals would give them a story, and then white people would give them money. And so my perception of white people from a very young age is they gave white people money. I mean black people money. And my dad used to work for a multinational company as well, so every time he would come from England, he'd come to our house, they would have dinner, and when he left, he gave us money, like the kids, not my dad. And so that was my perception. White people gave black people money. So I landed at Melbourne Airport, and I'm surrounded by white people, and I was like, I made it. I'm gonna be so rich, and then nothing happened, and I was like, that's a lot of false advertising you guys do. I didn't really like it. And so I really wanted to, get into the Australian culture. I've been here 16 years, so it slips out of me sometimes. I decided one time I was going to do, I just wanted to know my surroundings, and I went to Frankston. Because, just touring around, seeing Melbourne, and when I was in Frankston, this dude came up to me and was like, Mike, do you have $2? I was like, check my pockets. I was sorry, dude, I don't have $2, so I'm sorry. I've got $5. Do you want $5? I said, yeah, man, thank you, man. I gave him $5. And I was like, I've made it. I'm giving white people money. Now there's some white people walking around Frankston like, black people give white people money. That's giving them their own perception. So those were the beginning of the experiences that I was having in Australia. This is another one. I went to a bottle shop. I bought myself a bottle of whiskey. And when I was paying, the shopkeeper was like, from the bottle, was like, would you like some money with that? I was like, hell yeah. Because we don't have cash out in Kenya. We don't do that. So I'm here, I'm texting my cousins like, you guys, you need to come to Australia. This guy's don't know how to do business. I just bought whiskey, and then he gave me money. And then I had to pay my car insurance like 3 weeks later, and I couldn't do it. I was like, where's all my money? And then I remember that. The other things I started realizing now, at that point I was really new. If you're new to a place, you're very sensitive to stuff. I'd experienced a bit of racism in Australia at that point. And I had a friend of mine, and he said, Tshaka, do you want to come to my house for dinner? And I was like, great, yeah, I'd love that. So I went to his house, he set up the table, and we had a few other friends sat down, he brought some salad, we ate that. And then as we were sitting and having a chat, he, packed up a plate, took them to the kitchen, and was like, how about we move into the lounge room? And I was like, what about food? And he said, well, that was it. Because apparently, salad is a food to white people. No. So I'll tell you one thing right now. Black people, we either eat before coming to your party, or we eat after your party. Like, one of the two, because we feel like you guys can feed us really well. Talking about parties, I was invited to another party. That guy, he said to me, Tshaka, do you want to come to my house and have a barbecue? I was like, great, I'll come to your house, we'll have a barbecue. And he said, bring a plate. I was like, great. And, in my head, all these things are happening in my head, I'm thinking about. It's like, all right, cool. I've experienced a bit of racism. You want me to come to your house, but you don't want to share a plate with a black person. Like that's an extreme racism scenario right there. I didn't tell him that, I thought it. The second thing I thought was, why are you having a barbecue when you don't have plates? So I waited until the party came and I turned up and I brought a plate. And then I realized, like, white people, you never finish your sentences. It's always half. Like, there's a half that's missing. So he looks at me, he's like, hey, welcome. Why did you bring a plate? I said, because you said bring a plate. He said, oh, well, in Australia, when you say bring a plate, it means bring food. I was like, why didn't you just say bring food? That's just pretty easy. Like, just bring food. Works every time. Drop my beat up over here. And so those were the beginning of my experiences. Now, living in Australia for so long, I've got kids over here, and I realized food is such a choice in this country. Because there's so much food, and not in this country, in any Western society. You've got so much food, there's food security, so people don't really worry about food. To the extent, people in Western countries just come up with food diseases. You know what I mean? It's like you've got people who are gluten intolerant, and people who are lactose intolerant. It's like, it's such a wide thing. Like, what are you intolerant to? Nothing, exactly. It's such a wide concept. Do you have food intolerances in India? No. Where are you from?
Philippines.
Philippines? What intolerance do you have? None.
Lactose, gluten.
Okay, but Singapore is kind of Western now. You know what I mean? So we don't have that. We don't have that in Africa. That's like blew my mind when I had that. My daughter's lactose intolerant. I give her milk and cheese all the time. I do not give a shit. Like, I totally understand if you can't. No, for real. If you can't eat shellfish, for example, enough because it's going to kill you, I get that. But if your big problem is farting, that is not a problem. My daughter stinks. It's like, Dad, I don't drink milk and I don't like cheese. I'm like, you know what? But you're alive. That's the point. Right? I mean, I figure it. I try and imagine if I went out, if you guys went into a refugee camp in Somalia and, gave them bread. And they're like, oh, haven't eaten for like 3 weeks, but can't take the bread, right? Gluten intolerance doesn't really agree with us. Or you go to a refugee camp in Sudan, it's like, oh guys, we're so sorry you're starving, here's some milk. Did you bring lactose-free milk? Nah, we can't take it. So, we're tolerant to being hungry. Wow, we eat anything. Like, doesn't matter, we eat everything. My kids grew up here, though. They were born here, and when they come to my house, for example, I'd ask them, because, again, they're born here, so there's food choices, like, what do you guys want to eat? And I'd be like, Dad, can we have some rice? And I'd start making them rice, and, as I put it in the pot, they're like, it's taking too long, Dad. Could we have some chips? I start making chips. And I was like, Dad, I don't feel like eating chips anymore. Could we have some pizza? I'm like, this is not a fucking hotel. That's not how it works. Because when I was growing up, my parents made one dish. You like it, you eat it. You don't like it, that's your problem. And I remember when I was growing up, my dad, for the first time, I was about 9 years old, my dad made liver. And we came home from school, smelled horrible. Looked at the foods like, nah, not gonna eat that. My dad was like, fine, that's okay, don't wanna eat that, that's cool. Second day, my dad made kidneys, came back from school, same thing. Like, no, we're not gonna eat that. I was like, sure. For the next 3 months, lunch and dinner was kidneys and liver. And you start from the point, I don't wanna eat, I'm just gonna take a little bit of the sauce. I'm gonna have a little bite. By 3 months, we were eating everything. Like, we were destroying the meal. And then my dad goes like, all right, cool, I'm not cooking it anymore. That's the training we know. We don't do that here. So my kids choose food. My house, they actually choose food. When they're at their mom's house, they eat everything. So I was like a little bit perplexed, and I went to their mom. I was like, how come when I've got the kids, they don't eat all their food, but when they're with you, they eat everything? And she said, I told them there's stuff in kids in Africa. Blew my mind. Because I've never understood that concept. I have to say that their mom is white, so she could say that. Because I do not get that concept. Now, I've got a few black people in the house. Guys from India as well. Where are you guys from? At the back?
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe, cool. All of you in?
Mauritius.
Mauritian. Now, was there any time when we went playing in the bush, you were kind of hungry about 12 o'clock, and then you just went, oh my God, the bolognese. I don't know who said it yet, but that is amazing. Did you ever feel that?
No.
Exactly, right? So that's a very common, it's a concept that I don't understand, but my kids eat their food when they're at their mom's house. My kids actually fast, they're getting obese, and I don't get it. I'm just like, that's the whitest thing I've ever heard children being told. But you know what? They eat their food, and that's all I'm happy about. They're healthy, and I'm grateful. So, and because I've lived here for so long now, I feel like I have a very privileged life. I enjoy my life. I can get whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. So I decided to sponsor a child because I wanted to give back. I was like, I've got the privilege. My kids have got the privilege. Why don't I do the same for someone who's less privileged? Thank you for the support, by the way. And I sponsored a child. And I don't send them money, though. I don't send them money. I send them pictures of my children with their plates full. And then another picture when my children have finished their food. And I'm like, you'll be all right. You'll be fine. I actually do want to take my kids to Kenya. I want to take my kids to Kenya. I want to take them to, some of those refugee camps so that they can actually see how privileged they are to be living such a life and playing around with food. But I also want those kids to go like, thank you for the kids for eating your foods. We really appreciate it, They usually get smaller than that. So that's the thing. Food is a choice in this country. Food is a choice. It's such a choice that I had a friend of mine. Like, for one thing, I never understand, and no disrespect to anyone in the house. How many vegans do we have in here? Any vegans? You're a vegan? Cool. I'm not going to make fun of you. It's cool. It's vegan. How long have you been a vegan?
Vegan for 3 years, vegetarian for 20.
Okay, cool. Why did you become vegan?
Myriad of social guilt for animals, yada yada.
Fair enough. Cool. That's it's an everyone thing. But and then vegetarian for 20 years. Before that, you used to eat meat.
Well, I was 13, so I didn't have a choice. It was what's on the plate you eat.
Okay, cool. And you didn't like the taste of meat?
No, I actually love it. I just can't.
I never understand why you can eat meat and then just go like, no. But again, that's fair enough. That's a choice.
It's a privilege that I have, and I recognize that.
Yeah, there you go. Because I don't understand. I don't understand people who are vegan. I'm just like, I've tasted steak before, and it is yummy. I don't want to stop eating it. I had actually met friends, and I asked them why they became vegan. Now, your reason is pretty much ethical. I respect that. Her reasoning was she became a vegan because when she was younger, she got chased by a duck. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, I got chased by a duck and now I hate eating meat. I was like, that's the reason you eat meat. I would eat a duck in front of a duck. Just motherfucker, this is called revenge. What are you on about? But again, that's a choice. That was a choice. You never see, kids just like now when they don't even know where meat comes from. They just think it comes from coals. Because that's all they see. It's just because coals you get meat. If you slaughter a cow or a goat in front of kids, you can make them vegan. So that's hard. That's my kids though. And my kids are growing up here, feeling very privileged, they're annoying though. And that's what I'm saying. If you don't have kids, don't get kids. But if you have them, we have no choice. Because they're all about now social media and technology and internet and everything. And so is everyone here. Everyone's on social media, right? Everyone's using the internet for one thing or the other, which is really annoying. Like when I was growing up, we had dial-up internet. Was that really kind of thing? My kids would never enjoy that life. They would never experience that. You've got phones that you can talk to, like, hey Siri, and she answers you. Hi Alexia, she answers you. Call Tom, all right. Calling Daddy. I'm like, no, call Tom. All right, calling Tony. All right, it's fine. And for me, I actually have a problem with Siri because I feel Siri's a little bit racist. She doesn't get my accent. Doesn't matter what I tell her to do. She's like, nah. I did not understand what you meant. Sometimes I wonder if we had like a black Siri. And then we had like an Australian going, Mike, and I say, like, no, speak English. We do not understand what you're saying right now. But yeah, they're all into technology. And privileged little kids as well, because they, apparently now, I'll give you an example. My son was practicing for athletics, and for a long time, about 3 months, he used to wake me up in the morning, 6 o'clock on Wednesday and Thursday to take him for practice. And I was like really proud. I was like, I'm happy for the dedication he's put in. I'd wake up, take him for practice. I'd wake up, take him for practice. I was like, Dad, I'm in athletics. I was like, oh cool, that's pretty good. What race are you running? He said 200 meters. I was like, I don't know any Kenyan running that race, but okay, you could start a revolution, I'm on you, and I took you for practice, and then he was like, Dad, next week is my race, would you come to my race? And I was like, cool, I'll take the day off, I'll come to your race. So I took the day off, went to the race, stayed there like almost half the day, then they called his race, and then, 200 meters, bang, the gun goes off, and my son falls last. I'm like, I see what you're doing there. That's a typical Kenyan strategy. You fall last, let people get tired, and then you come and overtake them. Go, son, you got this! We go, get to the 100-meter mark, he's still falling behind. I'm like, okay, maybe Usain Bolt-ish kind of thing. Usain Bolt never ran the fastest initially. It was like, giving people hope, and then he'd win. And I was like, I can see what you're doing there, 50 meters, 30 meters, 20 meters, boom. Race ends, he comes in last. I was like, that's bullshit. I've been waking up every day, taking you for practice. This is I turned to the mom, because the mom was there. I was like, that is so annoying. I'm going to tell him when he comes over that was bullshit. He needed to put it like that. I couldn't get that. And the mom was like, no, you can't tell him that. You have to be supportive. I was like, there was nothing supportive about that race. Nothing whatsoever. In fact, that was the white part of him running. There was no Kenyan in that race. That is all you. And my son came over, I was like very excited. He was like, Dad, did you see me run? Dad, did you see me run? I was like, yeah, I saw you run. What did you think about it? I love you. No, but what did you think about the rest? I was like, I love you, don't push it. It is hard. It is hard. We're raising a society of entitled little kids. They feel like, because they had like a soccer presentation, and all the kids in the team got certificates and trophies. I didn't agree with that. I went to the coach. I was like, excuse me, coach, do they have like certificate for best player, best scorer, most improved player? And I was like, nah, in Australia, we all give them certificates. I was like, no, that doesn't help them. They all, and now, and I know because the way our parents raised us was a little bit harsh. Some of us, as parents, like, I don't want to raise my kids the way my parents raised us. But look at us now. We're here. We can sit at a comedy show. We are having kids who just expect things to be given to them, right? And so they get all the certificates, and I'm not really happy about it. So I was like, all right, cool. No, that's how it's done. For starters, they lose all the games. In all the games, like they lose hard. If say Pele and Diego Maradona, the late, came to Australia to train them for soccer, I wouldn't even take it because they would not improve. Like they're that bad, right? So anyway, but they feel privileged because they just turn up. So I look at that and I feel like my daughter, for example, one of my favorite things in the world to watch is talent shows. I love Australian talent. I love Australian Idol, American Idol. Love them today. But I only love them during auditioning. Like when the judges just tell a kid like, no, you don't got it, and those kids go like, oh my God, the judges don't know what they're talking about, because my mom said I was good. It's like, no, your mom should have told you your shit. You just need to tell your kids the truth. Like, no, you can't make it. If my daughter came up to me right now and said, Dad, I want to go on Australian Idol, I'd be like, no. And it's not because I want to curtail her passion, but I'm harnessing. I'd be like, how about we get you a voice coach for a few years, and then we can relive this moment again. But I wanted to go there, but you can't tell your kids the truth. You can't tell your kids their shit. You can't tell their kids like, no, you don't have talent because like in 5-10 years time, they have to see a psychiatrist. I can't have a relationship because my dad said I couldn't sing. Fucked up. It's really fucked up. Other things I came to discover about Australia is language. You guys like, we were colonized by the British. And I know you guys consider yourself British, but you're kind of not. Like, you came in and you do your own thing. We were colonized by the British, and when, like in Kenya, for example, people speak proper English. And in Australia, you speak Australian, which again is English, but different. You know what I mean? And it is very different. Because I'll tell you this. So when I first came to Australia, I was like, you know what? Black people have suffered through slavery. I'm going to sleep with all white women just to take some percent. Just for revenge.
How's that working out?
High numbers, man. Not in the least. Now Australia is still very weird about black people, but that's okay. But so I used to go out with my friends, and I go out clubbing, and dance out, meet white girls, or and do the exchange numbers and stuff. Now, in Australia, for example, if you gave me your number and I was supposed to call you like for a millisecond, yes. I don't choose. I'm an equal opportunist. If you gave me your number and I was supposed to call you back for a split second, you call it something starting with a P. Prank. Prank. Sorry, yes, prank. You call it prank. Now, prank in the dictionary has got many uses, like many definitions, but the proper definition of the word prank is a practical joke. on somebody. We don't use that in Kenya. We use a very different terminology. So when I was going out, I'd get numbers from girls. I'd be like, all right, cool, and I'd use the Kenyan terminology, and they would act very weird. They'd be like, oh no, don't do that. Oh, don't call me anymore. I don't want to talk to you anymore. And for a long time, I never understood. I was like, why are you being so weird? You gave me your number. I'm just going to do this, and then you can get my number, and then we can catch up some other time. Now, I stayed in Australia for about a year before realizing that the term that we use in Kenya is actually really weird. Because in Kenya, when you give me a number and I have to call you for that millisecond, we call it flashing. So I've been hanging out with girls like, yeah, give me a number, like, I'm gonna flash you. I'm like, nah, don't do that. Don't talk to me anymore. It took me about a year to kind of get like, oh shit, I was the weird one in that situation. And then when I landed here as well, there were things like, I heard a lot of Australian using the word bugged. Like you'd walk around and people were like, oh, I'm so bagged, I'm so bagged, I'm so bagged. Which was really weird for me. Do you know what bugged means, Marilyn? Pardon? Stuffed? Pardon? Exhausted? No. Do you know what bugged means, sir? Pardon? No. Anyone knows what bugged means?
I do.
Yeah, what does bugged mean? Tell the room.
To be buggered is to be fucked up the ass.
Yeah, that's the proper definition of the word bugged. Being fucked up the ass. Like I say, you speak proper English, so I landed over here and I was scared. I was walking around the city clenching my ass. This is never going to happen to me. Everyone you talk to, I'm so bad. What the fuck? I called my mom. I was like, Mom, where did you send me? These people are being molested everywhere. Wow. So scared. Like, my mom was like, they need Jesus. I'm like, no, I need more than Jesus. This is horrible. It was hard, hearing that. But again, after living here for so long and understanding the culture and being in the culture, I also understand why Australian language has developed, that people have started using the term I cannot be fucked. Because you've been buggered too much. Never gonna happen again. I cannot be fucked. So that's great. That was another experience that I got trying to get here. It was a really scary experience. But I love being here. I enjoy it. The thing that also I realized was when I came here that, again, like I say, white people it's a blanket statement, and not being racist. White people, you don't finish your sentences. You kind of leave them hanging. You went to all developing countries. You went to India. You went to Africa. You took the Bible. You beat it in us, and then you left. And you say this book is the whole truth. You follow the book. That's the whole truth. And people there are following the book. They believe in it, they eat, sleep, pray the Bible, like the Bible is everything. And then you come to Australia and you talk to someone about the Bible and they go like, it's just a book written by men. You didn't tell us that. You didn't tell us that before you left. There are people right now praying for a doctor's job. It's like, oh God, I really, really want the doctor's job. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. I'm like, how about you go for medical school first? Get some training. Like, it doesn't happen just because you pray for it. But there are people who pray for that. Pray for everything. And it's fine because I think as human beings, we want to blame someone else. While other people who blame God or the devil, or whatever, I just blame white people. You should have told us. You should have said like, look, we came here, we wanted to land, we gave you a book, it's just a storybook, and then, see you later. But don't. So people are really believing in the Bible. And I give this example, for example, I'm from Kenya. Where are you from? Zimbabwe. The Zimbabweans at the back there as well. And I'm going to talk about black, so I don't know how it would happen in India, but I'm going to talk about what I know. For example, if this building was on fire, and there were three people, there was like an American, an Aussie, and a Kenyan, or an African, let's put it that way, there would be three different reactions to how those three people would react to the fire. For starters, the American, for example, would be like, whoa, there's a fire, I gotta do something about it. They'd run in here and try and save people and be, come on guys, let's go, we're gonna get this. And he might get burned, he might die in the fire, and then 2 years later they're gonna make a movie about it. That's just the American way. If say it was an Aussie, an Aussie just can't tap with the wheel. It's like, Mike, there's a fire, man. Better get out. She'll get out. Sheila, we're going to be on Channel 9 today. Because everyone gets interviewed about something here. If there's an African person, for example, because we believe in religion so much, we'll probably go, the devil is alive! That fire is not going to burn you. It's like, no, that's not how fire works. Three different reactions to the same scenario. Because we believe in the Bible. And I love the Bible. I love the Bible so much. I read the Bible, I enjoy the Bible stories. Like, you guys wrote a good fiction book. It's amazing. It's awesome. I love it. I love reading, like, the people in the Bible who inspire me so much. Like, I love Jesus. Jesus is awesome. And do you know those bracelets that WWDJ? What would Jesus do? Love that. I usually think in this century is what would Jesus do if he was here, like now? And this is the thing. First of all, the story about Jesus is very interesting because why you decided Jesus was white. He had blonde hair and blue eyes. But when you read the Bible, geographically speaking, he was born around the Middle East. So I don't even think Jesus is white. I think he's not white, he's not black, but he's blackish. That's how I look at Jesus. He's kind of blackish. And the only reason Jesus would have blonde hair and blue eyes is for two reasons. Either his parents were immigrants to the Middle East, or he was an expatriate. I don't know. It's very different. But I love the story of Jesus. Jesus, for me, is blackish because white Jesus would have come back by now. Black people don't keep time. We'll just get there someday. Other reason I said Jesus was blackish is because when he was at the wedding and they ran out of wine, he said, just fill these drums with water, and he prayed for them, and they turned into wine. Which is also black people who love partying. Jesus knew that. He was like, yeah, let's get this party started. Fuck yeah. Like to party. White Jesus probably would have made kombucha. It's very different. But I love black Jesus. I wonder what he would be doing if he was born in this century, or the last century, like if he was our age. I think, geographically speaking, when he was born, he'd probably have a kebab shop. Or he would have a restaurant that specialized in fish, bread, and wine. Now that's a biblical joke of many proportions right there. So do you know the story of Jesus and the fish and bread? Fish and bread? Yeah, Jesus fed 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. That is an astonishing story. I don't know what white mathematician worked that out. That was great. When I first said that story, there was a lady at the front. She was like, "How did you cut the bread?" I was like, "That's not the point. It's 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, feeding 5,000 people. I do not care how you cut it. That is some way, way advanced maths for me. You know? Over here. Oh, sorry, over there. Yes? We can hear you. This is not a TV. Pardon?
Is the fish ethically sourced?
Is the fish ethically sourced? I will have to go to the Bible and check that out. I like that concept. But yeah, that was the story of Jesus. You know, he did miracles. But the reason I feel like Jesus is blackish, I don't say he's black, I don't say he's white, because Jesus as well did some whitish things. Like, Jesus crossed the Sea of Galilee. He was with his disciples. And I feel his disciples as well were blackish, maybe. Consider it, he was born in the Middle East. And then, in the Middle East, 2,000 years ago, they found Matthew, John, Peter, Simon, no Abdul, no Muhammad, no Yasser, just good books. You guys write good books. One reason I say Jesus, his disciples were also blackish is, so they were crossing the river, the Sea of Galilee. And when they were in the sea, there was a major storm, and the disciples were scared and they thought they were going to drown, so they woke up Jesus and Jesus calmed the sea. End of story. That's the story of Jesus. Now, the reason I say the disciples were also blackish is because I've been to white people parties. And when you see somebody sleeping, you do some weird shit. You put paste on their arm, and they wet them up, hope they slap themselves in the face. You probably would have shaved Jesus' eyebrow. Yeah, or sharpened. You probably would have sharpened a penis on his face. Just like, that's gonna be so funny when he wakes up. Wait until he wakes up. He's not gonna know what people are laughing at him. No, the disciples were like, no, blackish, we don't want to drown, so they kind of walked Jesus out. Now the story, I say Jesus is kind of blackish, but could also be white, and because he did white people shit, like he got on a boat. Black people would not have done that. Getting on a boat, no, we're not doing that, sorry, man. However, he also walked on water, because black people can't swim. See? Blackish. Love the Bible. There's a story of Jonah. I don't know if you guys know Jonah. How many of you have read the Bible? Just cheer. Cool. 4 people. So Jonah was a prophet of God. Jonah was sent by God to go to a city called Nineveh to preach to them and tell them that they've wronged God and they need to confess. And he didn't want to do the job, so he decided, no, I'm not going to do it. He got on a ship, and I mean ship, the boat, not ship, bar. He got on a ship, and when he was on the ship, there was a lot of storms, and he told the guys in the ship, was like, look, God sent me, and the reason this is happening is because of me. I didn't want to go on God's mission, and if you throw me overboard, you'll be safe. And the fishermen threw him overboard. Now, this is where white people, your imagination is amazing. Because Jonah was swallowed by a fish, and he lived in the belly of a fish for 3 days. For 3 days, he lived in the belly of a fish. Now, I'm single, and the reason I'm single is because I want to have a relationship with a woman who is as faithful as the women of the Bible. And I hope women over here as well have relationships with men as men of the Bible. Like those relationships were solid. So, Jonah was swallowed for 3 days. Imagine him coming home. Because nowadays, you get all these memes. Oh my God, he didn't text you in 2 minutes, he's not interested. Everybody's got a phone in his hand, he should text you. He didn't text you good morning, why did he not put a full stop at the end of the sentence? I'm gonna ghost him. Oh, why did you do that? We put so many rules on relationships, we can't even just enjoy meeting people. And everyone's just got a story, everyone's afraid of being hurt, everyone's just weird about stuff. But imagine Jonah coming home to his wife after 3 days. And she's like, where you been? What you been doing? I've been looking all over for you. I went to the morgue, I didn't find you. I went to the court session, I didn't find you. Who you sleeping with? Are you cheating on me? You didn't even send a dove to send me a message. Who are you with? Why are you smelling fishy? Who you been sleeping with? Who the fuck you been sleeping with? And he was like, no, babe, no, I haven't done anything. He's like, no, babe, you know I'm a prophet. Mm-hmm. And look, I haven't cheated on you. I haven't done anything wrong. I was just given an assignment by God, and you know I didn't want to do it. And then I went to the sheep, and then they threw me overboard, and then I was swallowed by a fish, and I was in the belly of a fish for 3 days. That's why I'm smelling fish, babe. It's not, I haven't slept with anyone. It's just, I was in the belly of a fish, and now I'm home. And she said, okay. And that was it. I'll make you some food. I'll make you a bath. You know, it's good. I want a woman like that. And not because I want to go home and lie to her. Jonah didn't lie, he told her the truth. And she was like, all right, cool. And that is the type of relationship I want. It's the same for any woman I want to have, you know, than to have a relationship as men of the Bible. Imagine Mary, mother of Jesus, going to Joseph and saying, you know, I'm a virgin, but you're going to be a dad. And it's going to be yours. And it was like, okay. So it's not a patriarchy thing. I'm just saying relationships with the Bible are amazing. So I mentioned that I grew up, and that was another experience that I experienced over here, where religion was a thing. Because once you read the book and then you see how people act in Western societies, you're like, you never told us about this, because we would be looking at different religion differently. So that was one of the experiences I had. So I say that from a big family. I'm from a family of 8. It was such a big family. And when I was growing up, I look at my kids now and I look at how I was brought up, and it's such a wide divide between the two of us. Because when I was growing up, my mom and dad were working parents, and they'd go to work, they'd come back home, and they'd be sitting there. Like my dad would come back from home, was a typical guy, just sit, read his paper. Mom would be pottering around the house, trying to clean up, arguing the whole time. Are you kids are gonna kill me? I'm too old, I go to work and I come back and I have to clean this and I have to clean that and I have to do this and I have to do that. And my dad would just put down his paper and be like, why are you screaming so much? And my mom would be like, because this kid drives me crazy. And my dad, he said it like twice. And he was like, stop arguing with these kids, kill them. We'll get other ones. Now, I know that topic is a little bit sensitive for other people, but every black kid in here has been told by a parent, I brought you in, I'll take you out. Now, white people, you just do take them out. That's very different. But black parents will take you to the inch of it so that you just remember, right? So, that's how I grew up. Now, as a parent, or when I came here, I was a little bit older. Do you know how disappointing it feels? And especially if you're an immigrant, you come to this country and you realize you can't breed children. Like, that's some fucked up shit. Messes with you. Like now, if I want to touch my kids, it's like, Daddy, touch me, I'm gonna call the cops. I'm gonna call child services. You can't put your hand on me. I'm like, should I put on a condom? But the thing though, I can't beat my children. I love my children. And it's not that I can't beat them, but I love them. And what I do instead, so I love watching documentaries, and I watch Netflix. I was watching this documentary with the kids. I usually like watching documentaries with the kids. Has anyone watched the documentary of Gabriel Hernandez?
Yeah.
You have watched. It's a good documentary. It's a sad, but it's a good documentary. I mean, I wouldn't say good. It's actually a horrific documentary. It's very horrific. Basically, the story is a mom met a guy. They started dating. She had a kid, and between the two of them, they mistreated the kid until the kid died. And that is really horrible. It's a horrible story to watch, but you kind of. I look at it and I look at what would possess someone to do that to their own child. And I was watching that with my kids. My kids fight all the time, but I'm like, you know what, you guys just do you, but all I want you to do is love each other. So, watching this documentary with the kids. And my daughter looks at me and says, Dad, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get why someone would have kids and then mistreat them and then, to an extent that they have to die. She's 10, but she's very sensitive. And I was like, it's a deep question. I was very impressed. And I looked at her square in the eye. And I was like, if that kid was as shit as you two, I totally get it. I don't beat my kids, but I scare the shit out of them. I Netflix and scare, that's all I'm saying. So that's what my dad did. My dad would scare us with that comment, kill them, we'll have other ones. And, we could have been 9. I don't know. I just never asked my dad. It was just a scary thing to do, asking my dad about things like that. Because African parents as well don't talk about things like sex. We never have the birds and bees talk. That's like a white thing. Did your parents talk to you about birds and bees? Sex? Now, you learned it in school, friends, watching porn if you can. It's very different. You have to learn on the go. No parent tells you about it. I learned sex through my cousin. My cousin was older than me. His name was Billy, and he came up to me one day and was like, dude, if you're ever going to have sex, no talking. No smiling. No funny business. You gotta be serious. It's serious business when you're having sex. I was like, cool. At 14 years, you're impressionable. That sticks with you forever. You know what I mean? And nowadays, you're having sex with a woman, and then she starts having a conversation. How do you like it? I don't even know how to explain it. I can't even watch porn where people are talking. I watch porn and the girl is talking, I'm like, Your cousin didn't tell you. That's serious business, man. I watched so much porn during COVID that I got to a point, I would watch porn, I'd be like, that guy's a jerk. He doesn't even treat women right. I can't walk to that shit. I change another one and they're talking like, oh my God, it's not working. It was hard during COVID. During COVID, a lot of people, like prior to COVID, women, you were like, oh my God, I'm gonna choose a guy. And then during COVID, it's like, I'm gonna put out. I was just like, we're all opt in, I need some. Like, I saw a lot of freaky women out there. Not saw them, like I saw, I heard about them. But, this is the thing about sex, and having lived in Australia for so long. I've lived here so long, I've started being Australian, I've started developing these things that, I would never have done, like talking during sex. And so one time I'm having sex with this girl, and it's going on well, and we're getting kinky, and we're talking, and we, just having all this conversation, I'm smacking her ass, like, who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? And she's like, who's your daddy? Smacking that ass, who's your daddy? And it's going on. And all of you know, after sex, you have that one blissful moment where you just it's silent and you cuddle each other. Now, during that moment, I started hearing something. And I was like, what the fuck's happening? Like, did I leave my TV on? did I do, like, and I had to go out and look around my house to see what was up. Siri had had Daddy and I'd gone calling Daddy. So for about 15 minutes, I'm having sex, going, who's your daddy? Slapping a girl's ass while my dad's on the phone. So it's not, I look at my phone, it's like, oh shit, yeah, okay. And I don't know if my dad knew what was happening, because he just goes like, what child are you talking to that doesn't know their phone? Just pass the phone, I'll talk to them, and stop hitting other people's children. Serious jerk. I have this very strong belief. I'm going to finish with this. I've got two stories to finish with. I'll finish with these two stories. I have a very strong belief. In 2021, we still have people coming on the news saying how they got conned, by people overseas. Like, oh my God, I fell in love with someone, and we're hanging out, and she asked me for money, and I sent the money, and I'm like, 2021, we've had these stories. It's been on the news, it's in your face, it's everywhere. Why are people still getting conned? I don't get that. Like for me, it's, like around tax time, you start getting those calls. You're gonna go to jail, and people go like, oh my God, I need to pay this. No, I'm not paying. I'm never scared of that. And I talk to people overseas all the time. I get friend requests from Facebook, Instagram, and I'm talking to people overseas. And I was talking to this guy for a while, and then like about 3 months in, he goes like, things have become really tight. I live in Kenya, and my brother's not doing too well. Can you send me $300? I was like, Dad, I don't even know you like that, man. I'm not sending you shit. You live in Kenya, you deal with your own bullshit. Like, I don't understand people sending money to people overseas. I feel like if you get conned in 2021, you deserve it. 100%. That guy has put in the work, and you agreed to getting conned. That's all I'm saying to that. They usually get big slaps as well, but we'll edit that out. We'll get that as well. My daughter as well, I'm going to finish with the story of my daughter. My daughter's amazing. Like I said, she's a very sensitive soul. She's 10 years old. She had a pet guinea pig. And what happened is one time she came from school, so her pet guinea pig was not acting the way it's supposed to be. And she was like, Mom, something's wrong with the guinea pig. So her and her mom decided to go to the vet. They took the pet guinea pig to the vet. And when they were at the vet, looked at the guinea pig and said, we'll do some x-rays and we'll do this. And then came back, it's like, the guinea pig is actually not doing very well. It's got a heart murmur, its joints not all that great. And, we can do whatever we can to help it, maybe we'll just monitor it for a night. And my daughter, without being coaxed by anyone, said, no, that's fine, let's put it down. At 10 years old, she understood the meaning of life, and that she would rather give up the pet than let it suffer. 10 years old. She came back from the vet and she was crying, and she was like, oh my God, my pet's died, and whatever. She was really sad. And my heart was broken for her. My heart was really broken for her. And then, so we buried the pet in the backyard, and the following day, I went to see my lawyer. I was like, you need to get my daughter off this page. She needs to be off my will. Because I don't want her to get cold. And get told I've had a heat stroke. And she's like, I think his name is live. It is good to go. Put it down. Thank you guys for coming out to the show. You guys are great. It has been a rough year, with COVID and everything, and it is actually super amazing. And I'm feeling very, very blessed that you guys came out and enjoyed this. It's been a show written in 2 years, actually. So I hope it's good. I'm open for feedback. If you want to give me feedback, don't be brutally honest. I still have a few shows coming up, so I want to make it as better as it can. But I hope this one was better for you. So thank you very much. Like I said, we're gonna put on the lights and I'm gonna give you a standing ovation, and then it's just gonna feel like, wow, he was really funny. All right, can you get the lights on? And you guys just stand up.
Same way.
No. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming out. You guys have been awesome. I'll meet you outside. But thank you for coming out. By the way, if you liked the show, please go tell your friends. It works like that they can come out. If you didn't like the show, still tell your friends. Just don't tell them anything. Just tell them it's going to be an experience. Otherwise, if you'd like as well, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Tshaka, Tshaka comedy. I'm still looking for more followers, so let's do that. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for coming out.